everybody. Welcome to Catch, Hook, and Shoot. Today is Sunday, June 23rd, 2019. Thanks, everybody, for listening and watching and subscribing on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, and live every Sunday at 3 p.m. Central Time right here on Twitch. And thanks to everybody who's following on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and LinkedIn. On any one of those, the show can be found at Catch, Hook, Shoot. And I hope everybody's had a chance to check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/catchhookshoot. We've got 4 different tiers there with some pretty cool benefits on each one. And also make sure you check out our Pro Wrestling Tees store at prowrestlingtees.com/catchhookshoot. Pick yourself up a t-shirt and support the show. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, go ahead and send them on over. I want to mention again about the Wrestling Behind Ringside Fan Fest 2020 coming up next July. That is July 25th, 2020. 2 shows that day, one at 8 p.m., one at 2 p.m. All tickets are now on sale. Tickets range from $25 all the way up to $200 for the Super VIP tickets. The Super VIP includes 15 photo ops, tote bag, collector cup, silicone wristband, priority entry into both shows, the 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. The stars that have currently been announced so far for the show are Paul Roma, formerly of WCW and WWE, member of a few different tag teams, also one time a member of the Four Horsemen, and also the Patriot Del Wilkes, also from WCW and WWE. So some other interesting stuff that's going to be going on. You'll have an opportunity to cut a promo against one of the stars in attendance, and I believe it was actually, I don't want to say the time because I don't remember exactly, but yeah, basically have an opportunity to cut a promo against one of these stars and have a video keepsake of that. Also, part of the Wrestling Behind Ringside Fan Fest, opportunity to get your picture taken with the 10 pounds of gold, the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, and this is the belt you will have an opportunity to take a picture with. Obviously, it is a replica. It's not the ring used 10 pounds of gold, but not a real common replica. You don't see too many people carrying these around, so if you want to have your picture taken with 10 pounds of gold, head on over to WrestlingBehindRingside.com, pick up your tickets for the WBR Fan Fest 2020. Alright, so let's get into what's going on in the world of pro wrestling this week. First and foremost, some news from MLW. Looks like Sami Callihan is done with MLW. He lost a loser leaves town match against Mance Warner. And apparently, during the course of that match, there was, according to Court Bauer, there was a lot of damage done to the arena, and that apparently is the primary reason that that Sami Callihan is no longer with MLW. There was also an incident with Jim Cornette where Sami, during his entrance for the match, spit some water at Cornette. Now, it's pretty well known Sami Callihan and Jim Cornette are not friends, to put it mildly. So, but yeah, Sami Callihan no longer a part of MLW. Obviously, he's still a part of Impact Wrestling. And getting into Impact Wrestling, looks like Scarlett Bordeaux has been granted her release from Impact. And this comes on the heels of Killer Cross and a lot of the things that have come out lately about he and Scarlett not being happy with Impact, specifically about their pay with Impact. Just a lot of issues there, but Scarlett has been granted her release, and yeah, if you follow her on social media, you'll see she's already got a ton of bookings, so definitely in high demand. So it looks like this was the best move for her to move on from Impact at this point. Also, this past week on Impact, we saw the re-debut of T.J. Perkins, once again part of the Impact roster. Don't know if it's if he's a permanent fixture there, if he's under contract, or if it's just a per appearance deal. But yeah, T.J. Perkins re-debuting on Impact Wrestling this past Friday against Ace Austin. Did pick up the victory, handed Ace Austin his first loss. So let's move on to NXT. We saw the TV debut of Damian Priest this week. Of course, that is the former Punishment Martinez. Yeah, I'm liking the new character, and wasn't a straight up squash match. It was a pretty good match that he had, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing where they're going to go with Damian Priest going forward from here. I mentioned last week NXT is starting what they call a breakout tournament. It's going to be starting next week, and this is eight superstars who have not yet made their TV debut, and the winner of this tournament gets a title match of their choice. Now, I'm assuming when they say title match of their choice, I'm assuming they mean NXT titles. So it would be, either the North American title or the world, or not the world title, but the NXT title. Possibly the tag team title too, if they want to go that route. So we'll have to see how that all shakes out. On the participants in that tournament, they've announced the first pairings here for the first round: Dexter Lumis versus Bronson Reed, Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Cameron Grimes, Angel Garza versus Joaquin Wilde, and Jordan Miles versus BOA or Boa. Yeah, I believe it's Boa. But anyway, so it looks like it's going to be a decent tournament. I'm not going to make any predictions because honestly, it's already been taped, so I don't want to give any spoilers here. And next week coming up on NXT, we've got a steel cage match with Shayna Baszler defending the NXT Women's Championship against Io Shirai. These two always put on a great match. So seeing them in a cage should be pretty interesting. The cage should prevent any outside interference from Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke on Baszler's side, but we'll see how that works out. So let's get into what's going on this coming week. Starting today, actually, is WWE Stomping Grounds pay-per-view. Now, by all accounts, it looks like tickets have not been selling well for this. WWE is actually doing a 2-for-1 deal with the tickets to try to get the attendance up for this one. And of course, there's a lot of factors that they're kind of blaming for the poor ticket sales on this one. Obviously, it's right on the heels of Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia, so there wasn't a whole lot of build up to this particular pay-per-view, and that it goes back to what I've been saying for quite some time, that pay-per-views really don't feel special anymore. I mean, it's a good card. Don't get me wrong. There's some good matches on this card, but it just doesn't. Like I said, there was no big build up for it. And it just, I still say there are way too many WWE pay-per-views. They need to cut the number at least in half, in my opinion. But let's break down the card, see what's going on here. First of all, we've got a women's match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Bayley defending against Alexa Bliss. I'm looking for Bayley to retain in this one. I'm hoping they don't take the championship off of her this quick. Because I think she's been doing a pretty good job. Her character's changed a little bit. She's gotten a little more aggressive, not so happy, smiley all the time. So I'm hoping they keep the story with Bayley going, keep the little bit of the evolution that's going on with Bayley, keep it going, keep the title on her. Then we've got Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre in a singles match. I'm actually pulling for McIntyre in this one. He's kind of been in the shadow of Shane McMahon lately. I know that's been a pretty big deal with WWE and a lot of fans and supposedly wrestlers backstage. A lot of people not happy that Shane McMahon is getting so big of a push right now in the WWE, and Drew McIntyre is kind of caught in his shadow. I mean, he's still, I still consider him a top guy, but I think, he needs his victory over Roman to kind of cement his position there and put him hopefully in a title picture. I mean, Drew McIntyre really does belong in a championship picture, whether it's for the WWE title, Universal title, whatever. But that, he deserves a main event spot. And obviously going against Roman Reigns, that's, a main event level match. So I'm picking Drew McIntyre in this one. Then for the Raw Women's Championship, Becky Lynch defending against Lacey Evans. I'm going to go with Becky to retain on this one unless there's some kind of chicanery with Lacey Evans. Now, we did see the split of Lacey and Charlotte, the little bit of an alliance that they had going for a couple of weeks, so I'm not thinking Charlotte's going to be interfering in this one. But I am picking Becky Lynch to retain in this one. Then we've got Seth Rollins defending the Universal title against Baron Corbin with a special guest referee that has yet to be announced. The referee is Baron Corbin's choice, and there's been a lot of speculation about who it could be. There's been a storyline going on Raw this past week that, pretty much anybody that Corbin tapped to be that referee was catching a beat down from Seth Rollins. And he said, that's just going to keep continuing. Anybody that agrees to be the special ref for that match is going to end up getting beat down with a chair for their efforts. So a lot of speculation that it could be Brock Lesnar. I don't see Brock Lesnar going into that particular role. I don't see it. I could be wrong, but as far as a special ref, I I really don't have any ideas who it could be, but I do think Seth Rollins is going to retain in this match one way or the other. Then we've got for the WWE Championship a steel cage match with Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler. I'm looking for this to be one of the top matches tonight. Kofi and Dolph put on fantastic matches together, and this one inside of a steel cage. Um, I'm thinking this one has the potential to be, match of the night. Another one that has huge potential to steal the show tonight is Samoa Joe versus Ricochet. Going back to the Kofi Kingston Ziggler match, I'm picking Kofi to retain. By all accounts, I don't think Ziggler is still on a long-term deal with WWE, so I can't see them putting the championship on him. It'd be a cool surprise if they did, but I'm picking Kofi to retain. For the United States Championship, Samoa Joe defending against Ricochet. Like I said, this has the potential to steal the show. This is the match I'm probably looking most forward to. I would love to see Ricochet come out on top in this one and get his first title run in WWE. But I don't think they're going to do that quite yet, so I'm picking Samoa Joe to retain in this one, but I'm thinking this is going to be a fantastic match. Then we've got a tag team match, the New Day, Big E and Xavier Woods versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I am picking the New Day to win this one. Then a triple threat match for the Cruiserweight Championship, Tony Nese, Akira Tozawa, and Drew Gulak. Akira Tozawa is my favorite guy on 205 Live, so I'm going to pick him. I'm doubtful that he's going to win, but he's my pick. I love Akira Tozawa. And then we've got a tag team match for the SmackDown tag team titles. Daniel Bryan and Rowan defending against Heavy Machinery. Again, I would love to see Heavy Machinery get their first title run in WWE, but I don't think it's going to happen quite yet. I think they're going to leave the SmackDown tag titles on Bryan and Rowan for a bit longer, so that's my pick for this one, Daniel Bryan and Rowan to retain. Moving on to some AEW news. I'm sure pretty much everybody's heard by now. Tony Khan was the first guest on the re-debut of the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast this week, and it was a good interview. Got a lot of new information pertaining to AEW. First and foremost, there is going to be a tournament to crown tag team champions when their television show starts in the fall. So I'm interested to see who's going to be part of that tournament and who is. Who the first tag team champions are going to be. I'll go on record right now. I do not think it will be the Young Bucks. I don't think they're going to book themselves to be, the first champions of AEW. So I'm sure they'll be in the tournament, but I do not think the Young Bucks will win it. I think that's what a lot of the kind of haters of AEW are thinking. Oh, they're just going to book themselves to win all the time. I really don't think so. I think they're smarter than that, So, but I am very excited to see how that tag team tournament's going to shake out. And apparently, with the some of the events they have coming up, there's going to be matches going on where people are going to have an opportunity to get a first round bye in that tournament. So we'll have to see how that's going to shake out. Some other AEW news: the Jon Moxley is not going to be appearing for New Japan on their U.S. shows coming up here in July, and that it's not really a surprise. I mean, he wasn't advertised for it. By all accounts, he was never booked for those shows. But people are complaining that AEW is pulling some of the stuff that WWE does, and they're really not. I mean, they do not have a working agreement with New Japan. They allow their guys to take independent bookings or outside bookings. In this case, Moxley with New Japan, he is the IWGP United States champion. But when it comes to major U.S. shows, he's exclusive to AEW, and that's not, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, they let their people take independent bookings, they let them take outside bookings. I'm sure if, somebody under contract to AEW wanted to appear on like a House of Hardcore show or something like that, as long as it's not being broadcast nationally, I'm sure they'd be allowed to do that. But, as far as like major televised or pay-per-view U.S. shows, these guys are exclusive to AEW, and that's just standard practice as far as I'm concerned, so I don't see an issue with it. Also found out that Fyter Fest and the Fight for the Fallen pay-per-view coming up will both be streaming for free on Bleacher Report Live, and that's that's huge news. I think that's really good on the part of AEW to give these shows for free, to give an opportunity for people who maybe more casual fans to check them out before they make their TV debut, to get some more eyes on the product, and that is smart business. And of course, their next actual pay-per-view event is All Out here in Chicago over Labor Day weekend. So yeah, I will definitely. I'm still working on trying to get tickets for that. I'm keeping a very close eye on the third party ticket sites and things like that, and of course entering whatever sweepstakes and raffles and stuff like that are giving away tickets, because I want to be a part of this show. But I will be at Starcast that weekend as well. Also, side note, happening that weekend is Warrior Wrestling 6. You guys have heard me talk about Warrior Wrestling on the show quite a bit. Was announced just yesterday that they will be having their next event on Labor Day weekend. Because I mean, the eyes of the whole wrestling world are going to be on Chicago that weekend, so it's the best time to put on an event. It'll be that Sunday, September 1st. So I will definitely be a part of that. Hopefully be a part of the Fan Fest again, but either way, I will be at the event. So, yeah, keep your eyes open for that. Head on over to warriorwrestling.com, pick up some tickets. It's always a great time at Warrior Wrestling, so definitely check that out. Some more AEW stuff going on. Found out that the women's championship is going to be unveiled at All Out. Hopefully, we'll hear some more news about how they're going to crown their first women's champion. Also, some more stuff from Tony Khan. It looks like AEW, their television show is going to be live every week. It's going to be a 2-hour show, and it is going to be a traveling company. They're not going to be just doing events in one single location. So and he said they're gonna do roughly about 100 to 120 dates a year. Wrestlers are not going to work every single show, so that they have time off and time to heal up and keep their bodies in shape, and heal from those nagging injuries that we all know pretty much every pro wrestler deals with because of the hectic schedules that they have. So very, very wrestler friendly schedule. I think very smart on the part of AEW management to kind of cut back on the dates. It also gives guys free time to take those outside independent bookings, if they choose to. So definitely, AEW, it's sounds like it's all about the wrestling and it's all about the wrestlers, and that is that I think is very refreshing, even from a fan's point of view, because you're not going to have so many major injuries, hopefully, with a lighter schedule like that. When the guys have time to have proper rest and proper recovery for their bodies after the hell that they put themselves through on a nightly basis. So I'm loving everything that I've heard about AEW so far, everything that I've seen from them so far. So yeah, I'm thinking AEW to this point is doing pretty much everything the right way. And so getting into Fyter Fest, which is coming up next Saturday, the 29th. Again, looks like another stacked card from AEW here in partnership with the CEO, which is basically a fighting video game convention, so to speak. But it looks like they've got a really, really good card going on here. We've got 2 matches that are apparently going to be on the kickoff show. It's going to be Michael Nakazawa versus Alex Jabali, who is the founder of CEO. So that should be, and that's a hardcore match, so that should be pretty entertaining, to say the least. Then we've also got the Best Friends versus SoCal Uncensored versus Private Party, and this is a 3-way tag team match. And the winners of this match advance to All Out for an opportunity at a first-round bye in the tag team tournament to crown the first AEW World Tag Team Champions. So, winning this match doesn't get them the bye, but it gets them to All Out. I'm assuming another match at All Out, and the winner of that match will get a first-round bye. So, they're definitely... they have a long-term plan here for their tag team division, and I think that's going to be one of the big things with AEW. They are probably going to have the best tag team division in wrestling, and that's really not a surprise when you've got guys like the Young Bucks as executives with this company. I mean, arguably the greatest tag team on the planet right now. So I'm really excited for the AEW tag team division, just because that's an area where WWE has been sorely lacking the last several years. So I cannot wait for AEW to get started to see how this is gonna all pan out. The rest of the show on the main card, we've got Cody Rhodes versus Darby Allin. This should be a ridiculous match. For those of you that aren't familiar with Darby Allin, I definitely suggest you look him up. The guy is crazy inside the ring, and young guy, up and coming guy, but he's been around the block more than once. So this should be a great match with Cody and Darby Allin. Then we've got the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers and Laredo Kid in a six-man tag team match. This one, I'm calling this one the main event of the show. I mean, I don't know how the matches are going to be lined up, but I'm calling this six-man tag team match the main event. I mean, anytime you've got Omega, the Bucks, and the Lucha Brothers all in the same ring, and then you throw Laredo Kid in there just for good measure. Now, it was originally supposed to be Pac teaming with the Lucha Brothers, but obviously there's still some creative issues there between Pac and AEW. But Laredo Kid, definitely a great substitution there to place with the Lucha Brothers. So this should be a crazy six-man tag team match that I'm really looking forward to. John Moxley versus Joey Janela. This one, I mean, you've got two legitimate psychopaths ready to go in there and just beat the hell out of each other. So that match alone is worth watching the show for. Then we've got a four-way match: Hangman Page versus Jimmy Havoc versus Jungle Boy versus MJF. Again, four of the fantastic young stars that AEW has signed. These guys, these are the ones that were involved. If you watch Double or Nothing, these are the guys that were involved with the World Championship presentation when Bret Hart was in the ring. Of course, you had MJF come out, start talking trash, and you had Jungle Boy and Jimmy Havoc and Hangman Page come out. So it looks like these guys are probably, I'm guessing, going to be, some of the top guys that are going to be heavily involved in that World Championship picture once the first champion is crowned. So, that's going to be an amazing match with those four guys. Then we've got Christopher Daniels versus Shima. Shima, of course, from the OWE promotion in China. And, yeah, I mean, if you saw SCU versus Shima and his two partners at Double or Nothing, you know how great of a match that was. So Daniels versus Shima one-on-one, going to be more of the same. Should be a fantastic match. Then we've got a three-way women's match with Yuka Sakazaki, Riho, and Nyla Rose. Now, Yuka Sakazaki and Riho were both involved in a six-woman tag team match at Double or Nothing. Honestly, one of my favorite matches on the card. So, and Nyla Rose, of course, was involved in the Fatal 4-Way match, women's match at Double or Nothing. So, again, just a stacked card top to bottom. I can't wait to check this one out. And again, it is free on BR Live. So, I'm thinking AEW, their second not really pay-per-view, but that's basically what it is, except it's free. But their second foray into pay-per-view is going to be, just as good as their first. This should be a fantastic, fantastic show from top to bottom. So that's pretty much it. I don't really have a topic for this week. I just wanted to kind of break down the pay-per-views that are coming up. Coming up next week, of course, I'll go through the results of both shows, Stomping Grounds and Fyter Fest. So I'm looking forward to that. Hope you guys enjoy both of those shows. And also next week, I will have a guest on the show. I will be doing an interview this week coming up with a guy who is he's got his hands in pretty much everything. I mean, you talk about any type of entertainment, whether it's music, film, sports like MMA, wrestling, whatever it might be. This guy's got his hand in it in one way or another. He's a Las Vegas personality, and his name is Trap Gambino. Check him out on social media. Check out his YouTube channel. It's Trapping Over Vegas is his Instagram handle, and the name of his YouTube channel. So head on over there, check it out. His wife is a phenomenal MMA fighter by the name of Ashley Gambino. Check them both out. Trap is going to be on the show, be conducting an interview, just talking about him, kind of what he's into, his background, his history, for anybody that might not be familiar with him, and what he's got going on now as far as again, music, movies, sports. The guy is just an all-around entertainment machine. So it should be a good talk with Trap Gambino. And I do have to give a big thank you to his wife Ashley, who's the one who actually reached out to me. She, her and I follow each other on Instagram, and she, reached out, said, "Hey, you should have Trap on your show." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'd love to." I actually had it, in my head. I planned on emailing both of them this weekend anyway to ask that exact question. But it was really really flattering that she actually reached out to me and mentioned it, and then kind of got the ball rolling with that. So a big huge thank you to Ashley the Mob Wife Gambino for getting in contact with me, and I cannot thank her or her husband Trap Gambino enough for being such cool people and agreeing to do the interview. So I'm really really looking forward to that. So make sure you guys check it out next week on the show. So that's pretty much all I got for this week. And once again, thank you to everybody for listening, watching, and subscribing on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, and live at 3 p.m. Central Time right here on Twitch every Sunday. And thank you for following on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and LinkedIn. On all of those, it's at CatchHookShoot. Don't forget about the Patreon page, patreon.com/catchhookshoot, and the Pro Wrestling Tees store, prowrestlingtees.com/catchhookshoot. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, as always, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. So with that, I hope everybody has a good week. Enjoy Stomping Grounds tonight, and enjoy Fyter Fest next Saturday. And again, hope everybody has a good week, and I will talk to you guys soon.